Hello everybody, my name is Christian Charlo. Welcome to our market report. Today we're Friday, January 18. Today folks, I want to make a follow-up on our last market report when we talk about the volume unbalance, but also I'm going to show you an interesting list related to the resources because China GDP came out today higher than estimates. So I think the resources with the steel stocks I'm going to show you, there's a lot of stocks that are to be put on your watch list. But before, let's make a look on our volume unbalanced stocks that I've shown you in our last market report. First of all, Mila Sciences. When I showed it to you, the volume unbalance was still increasing and Mila Science was within that sideways formation. Actually, I told you in the last market report that the ideal entry point will be on the break of that resistance. Well, it happened around 198. It went from 198, suddenly it reached 222. So you got 10% potential. It was a quick profit though because the stock got back to the same neutral formation. So yes, it paid off, but you had to be quick. BNK Petroleum, same scenario. It was within that sideways formation while the volume unbalance was increasing. So it went from 55 cents to 63 cents. So that was an opportunity to take some profit. Quick profit, just like Mela Sciences, but it paid off, but you had to be quick. But there are some stocks on which the volume unbalance didn't really work well. For instance, Free Seas. Well, the stock was neutral when I showed it to you last week, but you see the volume unbalance was still increasing. So we thought that, maybe there's a movement there on Free Seas. But the thing is, actually, we were biased because there was all that upward momentum that happened in the volume unbalance, but it was only related to that important breakout. And I think because of that, stocks like that are making those formations where you see the volume unbalance has increased so much, it becomes less reliable. So that's why Free Seas, it didn't really work out. So you had to put your stop loss whenever Free Seas was breaking its support. HealthNet, it was still neutral. The volume imbalance was increasing. So those of you guiding here on the break of that resistance, well, it's a hold so far of your positions because HealthNet didn't perform that much, but still it's positive. So you're still in the money because it's still flat here for HealthNet. Same thing for Jeffries Group. Look at here the volume imbalance. It increased. The stock was staying flat, but Jeffries Group didn't really move that much. So it's a hold so far on Jeffries Group for those of you who got in here within that sideways formation. Your stop loss always have to be on the break of that support, which will be around 1839 on Jeffries Group. So today, let's take a look at the steel sector because, as I said earlier, China's GDP came out higher than estimates, and now the steel, the interesting situation is that it is reversing its downward trend, made a ride, and now it's stabilizing, making a new sideways formation. So here, this is the steel vector. So let's take a look, first of all, at some stocks that are doing the same technical situation as the steel. Ternium, for instance. It reversed its downward trend. Now it's making a new stabilization phase. And I think Ternium, if ever there's still to be positive economic data coming from China, Ternium might be a good opportunity for swing. It will also break that important resistance of the beginning of 2012. So that will be an interesting entry point at 24.89. Mekel Au. Actually, you can take a look at this together, that it is reversing its downward trend on a yearly basis. We have two downward trends, one here and one there. So yes, it has reversed them. Now it's making a new stabilization phase. So on the break of that resistance at 740, that will be a go on Mekel Au. Another one is LNG Technologies. Look at that downward trend. It reversed it, and now it's stabilizing. So on the break of that resistance at 31.93, I'm a buyer. United Steel, this is a downward trend. It got over that resistance of 2012, and now it's making a new sideways formation for United Steel. So at 26.31, I'm a buyer. There's also another one which is not doing the same technical situation, but is in a better technical situation than the other stocks I've shown you earlier, like Metals USA Holding, because it is still keeping its upward trend. It is stabilizing. So because it's keeping its upward trend, it is making a sideways formation. There's more potential that the stock might continue to go up if ever we break that resistance here at 1780. So Metals USA is also a stock that was to be watched at 1780. That would be a good entry point. But there's some stocks who have not yet reversed their downward trend, and that are in a technical situation that is worth to watch. Tenaris, for example, an important triangle formation, an entry point at $43. ArcelorMittal, same scenario, an important downward trend, actually an entry point at 1854 because it is still testing that downward trend. It has not made the first move yet, but it is worth to watch. Cliff Natural Resources, keeping its downward trend, but you will only get in at 39.98, which will be the reversal of that downward trend and the break of that resistance. And let's not forget POSCO, which is keeping its downward trend, but you will only get in at 88.28, which will be the reversal of that downward trend. So going from Ternium, Mekalao, Allegheny, United Steels, those are all stocks that have been reversing the downward trend and that are making a new sideways formation, so worth to watch for second movement. But going from Tenaris, ArcelorMittal, Cliff, and POSCO, they're still stuck within their downward trend, but they're worth to watch for a potential reversal of that downward trend if ever the positive economic data that came out of China today continues to go on and on and on. So the resources might continue their bullish momentum if ever those data coming out of China are positive. So that's it, folks. This is Christian Charlo for our market report. See you next week for our next market report. To learn more about us, go to decisionplus.com on the section free trial, try marketguru.tv.